Injury updates first of all.
Christian has felt a bit of tightness in his calf just as he came off against Leicester. So we're managing him. I haven't got an answer for it yet. It feels better than it did at the end of the game. So we'll see by tomorrow. Andreas Christensen, likewise, a little bit is in the squad. But we'll have to see with another 24 hours because of the tight turnaround.
Also going back to West Ham, I mean, you're going for 6 straight wins. It's a special match for you as well. And it's been suggested that Declan Rice is a player that you and Jody really like. Can you confirm, any interest in Jody Rice as a possible Chelsea player?
Well, in terms of being a special game, it's certainly a special game in the fact that we won 3 points. Nothing more than that, particularly for myself. Even with the West Ham connection, this is all about what we can try and do to keep pushing for the Champions League spots. Declan Rice is a good player, right? I've known Declan Rice for a long time. He was in Chelsea's academy, but there's no talk. Keep saying about every player that will be asked about until these games are finished and this season's finished. There's nothing to say.
Okay, we'll go to John Southall, 5 Live BBC.
Hi Frank, how you doing? Hi. How different a proposition do you think it will be going to West Ham when there are no home fans there?
It'll be different in the sense that we've all seen how different it looks without fans. It can obviously go both ways at different times. Fans that support their team strongly can give them the edge. Intense, tough moments, it can be a different feel. So it takes those factors out of it really, and potentially makes it more about the 11 players on the pitch against the other 11 individual battles within that. So I'm not sure whether it'll be a positive or negative effect. It's up to us to focus on what we do on the pitch, I suppose.
Should be a nice quiet evening for you there, which is probably not always the case when you go back to West Ham. Do you think it gives you the advantage, as you say? Because I mean, normally that's the 12th man, especially in a West Ham Chelsea game, and it can be really hostile, and that's just taken out of the equation.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think a London derby, fans should always back their team and give them the edge. In difficult moments, it doesn't work that way, just as I said. So it will be slightly different. It doesn't bother me either way, to be honest. I'm not actually considering the fan factor. We've had a few games now already. We know what it is, and again, we're focusing on our game.
Yeah, are you enjoying it? Obviously, no fans. It's 3 games a week. How are you finding it?
I'm enjoying it because it's what we do, and we're so happy to be back. We're fortunate to do the job we do in that sense, and we've obviously managed to get some good results. It's different. Leicester felt most different for us because I think it was the one performance where in the first half we didn't have an energy and an urgency about us, which kind of was a reflection of the fact that there were no fans in the stadium. It shows you with the input that we put into the other 2 games we played, particularly against City, that you can inject urgency without fans. So that's on us to work towards, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. But we have to keep focused on what's ahead as opposed to what's gone before. We've had a good week, but we've got a lot of work to do.
Okay, James at TalkSport Radio.
Hi, Frank.
Hi.
Frank, there's been 3 different type of victories from Chelsea so far since the restart. Just how happy are you with the added steel your side seem to have?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to win games. I'm happy with elements of the games we've played, particularly the first 2. City was obviously a very tough game, and we certainly showed still in that game in terms of work ethic and what we needed to do on the night. But that must continue. That's something that we must get better at, to continue to add that. I felt slightly disappointed in the performance after Leicester, but then when you reflect on a 1-0 win with not such a great performance, then that's something that there is a positive to, of course. So we need to keep working along the same lines. That still will only remain when we make sure we focus on every part of our game, particularly in a defensive and work ethic aspect.
What have you made of the quality of the matches so far since we've come back from the restart? It feels like the first half, especially in matches, it's taken a while for the game to come to life.
Yeah, I think that's been the case. I think that's probably a mixture of coming to terms with new surroundings and the new normal in the short term, hopefully short term, and probably the very short pre-season that we had. It's not normal. I know from being a player myself that the first 1 or 2 games of pre-season are normally filling your way in, and it's been the first 1 or 2 games of pre-season have pretty much been starting the season again. So sharpness is not always there, and sometimes it takes players a bit of time to get up to speed for those fine margins in the game, the extra bit, the 5% that makes maybe games more sharp in an attacking sense.
Can we go to Gwilym, please?
Hello, Frank. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Guillaume. Hi.
All right. You, like all managers, have had to prepare training sessions without a clear path, or because more or less it's all new to you in the situation we're in. So, give us an idea how it all worked for you on the way to get into the games. Is it long hours? You had to delegate a lot. Social life completely gone. And also, did you have to change some ideas of what you had planned because you thought, "Oof, this is not working. We better try something else"?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've actually found it a really nice and interesting challenge from the start of when we came back with a small group training, which actually helped in a way in getting specific physical work in for the players. And that was, it was testing in a work sense that we're quite small staffed here for a Premier League club, so we stretched ourselves. We had separate groups and staggered groups, and to keep it interesting, but also very practical and good for the players is work. So that patch was something that we certainly, I think, learned from and enjoyed in the end. And then in a shorter pre-season, I think the balance of incorporating your physical work and your tactical work together is something you're always trying to find. But I think it was even more important in this short, slightly compressed time. I think the one thing I'll say is that we had great buy-in from the players here. The harder sessions we were putting on to try and ramp up the intensity quickly, they really performed well in and rose to. So I think hopefully we managed to get ourselves in a good spot. I think the first few games have shown a good energy about us. Hopefully we managed to hit the numbers we wanted physically, and also to work on some of the patterns and the way we want to play. Lockdown gave myself some really good reflection time on ways we can improve in our game, and hopefully that can show to the end of the season. And now the games have started. Really, it's more about ticking over in between games and trying to make sure that physically the players are in the best condition. So there's a lot of video and talk and analysis with the players in between, because we can't work that hard.
James Burford, PLP.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, James.
Just wanted to ask about chance conversion, because it's something you've spoken about many times this season, and yet now you've scored, twice or more in each of the last 5 Premier League games. So that must be very pleasing for you.
Yeah. I've definitely spoken about that, because we do always look at stats. It's never my first view. What we see is the first, and then afterwards stats sometimes align, back it up, or tell you something differently. And we've had a lot of games that have been crucial in terms of how many points we've got, and where we've had a lot of chances and good chances haven't converted. And of course, in Premier League football, that's always going to hurt you. So I think we've shown a pretty good eye for it in the games we've had. We can always be better, because we are a team that generally have created quite a lot. We can always be more clinical in front of goal. But I'm pleased in what you're saying there. We've been scoring more regularly. We have to keep that up. But for me, that comes on the training ground and how we work as a team, how we work individually, and we'll always strive for more with that.
Jerry Cox, Haters.
Hi, Frank. You hear me okay?
Hi, got you, Jerry.
N'Golo Kanté, he's played a few different positions since he joined Chelsea, but it looks like, I think that someone talked about the Makelele position, a player you know well. Is he the best in the world at that position, and do you think you're getting the best out of him now?
I think it's a different position to what I'm asking for from Kanté to how Makelele played it. I think with eras and with the players around you, that changes. And I think with N'Golo, I have a way of wanting to work our midfield where we have some fluidity to us, which allows N'Golo to bring his best attributes to the game, and they're not always to sit in front of the back four. Sometimes he has so much capacity to do high intensity running to leave areas that you want him to be able to go and do that, and that sometimes leaves him higher up the pitch, which means the other midfield have to react. So I think he's done it well. I think we can improve as a unit, everybody together, the more we work on it, because as you say, it's pretty new for N'Golo since he's been here. His attributes and his absolute qualities mean that he can pretty much play any role in midfield you want him to. He's an incredible player. I keep saying it, and I really mean it. He's huge for this club. He has been huge, and he will be going forward for a long time. I'm happy with him. And it's not just about N'Golo; it's the other players in the squad. I've got a lot of competition in midfield, and at the moment, N'Golo is doing a really really good job for us there.
Okay, last two, Nizar and then James Ollie.
Hi Frank, I just wanted to ask Timo Werner and Hakim Ziyech might technically be Chelsea players tomorrow. I was just wondering, with this strange situation we're in, do you plan to integrate them in training? Are you going to try and involve them before they can officially play for you next season?
I'm in the process of arranging that plan now. You're right; they do become our players. They also are in different positions in the fact that Hakim hasn't played for a long time because of the Dutch league situation, and obviously Timo finished at the weekend. So we will formulate a plan for them, which will look slightly different individually. And I'll decide in the meantime how it looks at Cobham at the training ground, whether that means mixing with the squad or whether it means some physical work in the shorter term for themselves.
Last question, James Ollie.
Hi Frank, just following on from that really, I mean, do you think that this sort of extra time to be able to work with them while you're still training, because obviously in a normal season you'd be on holiday by now, could actually help those two next season hit the ground running?
Yeah, well, I mean, that'll be up to how we arrange the plan, because the first issue now is how we finish this season. That's absolutely what we're focused on. That's my main focus. In terms of the two players individually, we have to make sure they'll arrive with good fitness levels and freshness levels for next season. They will have a longer break than the players that we've already got in the squad, so I'll take that firmly into account. And when I feel it's the right time to bring them in and around the squad this season, I can do that. If not, the absolute priority will making sure they're fresh and ready for next.